So someone asked me a question. He said, I have an exam to write in the next 24 hours and I have not prepared at all. All the handouts are new to me. What will I do? Well, I'm going to answer that question using this video. So 5 piece strategy on how to ace a test or an exam, even if you don't have a lot of time for preparation. So let's get into it. Number one is plan it. If you're writing a test, how many handouts are you supposed to read? How many notes do you have to cover? How many pages are there? Do you understand? So you plan it. Okay, I have 10 pages. Okay, I need to read, let's say, 1 page in 5 minutes. Do you understand? So the first thing is you will plan it out. You plan the strategy you use to read all those handouts, be it a test or an exams. Number two is you will put in what they call the Pomodoro technique. Forget about the name. It's simple. It simply means you read for 25 minutes and rest for 5 minutes. Then you read for another 25 minutes and then you rest for 5 minutes until you are done. Why are you doing this? Because as you read, your concentration will decline with time. You will not be efficient as you were when you start. So that rest will recharge you up to 100% and then you can be able to continue reading. But somebody will say, but I understood what I was reading. Do I have to stop? Yes, you can understand, but it doesn't help your memory. Do you understand what I just said? You can read for 3 hours without stopping. Listen to me, you will understand it, but your memory will be declining because you only consolidate, you only store information when you rest and when you sleep. So resting in between your reading time, what will happen to you is that you are giving your brain enough time to organize the information and store it so that you can be able to retrieve it. That is why I'm advising you to practice Pomodoro technique. It's what I did in school. I didn't even know the name was Pomodoro technique. It was when I was doing research on learning skill. That's when I saw it. I was like, I'm doing this thing now. I don't even know the name. So that's the name, Pomodoro technique. You read for 25 minutes and then you rest for 5 minutes. Do you understand? Yes. So the resting is to help you to store the information in your head. Next one is you will pick up your memorization toolbox. As for me, when I was in school, I usually use Memory Palace a lot because it was very easy. I used to virtually cram everything. You don't have time to understand everything inside the notes. Do you understand? So what I do is I use Memory Palace a lot. I use it to learn advantage and disadvantage, factors affecting, definition, everything, diagrams. I use Memory Palace for virtually everything I want to learn, everything I want to cram in school because I don't have time to understand everything. So make sure you pick up your memory toolbox. What do you use for cramming? I was using two. The art of storytelling. I use acronyms, and I also use Memory Palace. Those were the three I usually use in school when I was in school, and it worked very well for me. The next thing I want you to do is to practice test and exam question. Practice past questions. You don't have a lot of time to start reading and understand everything because you have less than 24 hours. So what you are expected to do is to practice question. If you can do that, you will be able to perform well because during exams and tests, what they are trying to test is your ability to recall information. Do you understand? So put into practice test, practice exam question, practice past question. Do you understand? So you keep practicing because practice makes perfect. Yeah, it does. Then the fifth of the list among the P's is partner with a friend. Listen to me. If you don't understand anything, ask a friend. They will explain it simply for you and he will speak as a friend to a friend. Listen to some of your lecturers in class or in school, they what they are teaching you, they learned it maybe 20 years ago. So the vocabulary they have to explain it might be different from what your friend will use to explain it. So partnering with a friend will save your time. He might use your own slangs. If you understand Pidgin English the most, tell your friend to explain it in Pidgin English. If you understand Hausa, tell your friend to explain it for you in Hausa because you don't have time. Time is not on your side. So those are my 5 P's I use to ace exam and test in less than 24 hours, even if I have not read any of the handouts before. Number 1 is to plan it. Number 2 is to use Pomodoro technique. Number 3 is to pick up my memorization technique. Number 4 is to practice past tests and exam questions. And number 5 is to partner with a friend. Let me tell you a quick story before I let you go. We were in 100 level. We wanted to write a test. Yes, no, it was an exam, by 101 exam biology. So we were going to the hall to write the exam, and then we were reading on our way. Those days, you know our reading technique. But one thing was, I told my friends to be asking me questions, and so we were asking ourselves questions. Guess what? Funny enough, when we got into the hall, it's as though they used the the paper I wrote all those questions. They used those questions. That was the exact question I saw inside of the hall. It was filling the blank. Guess what? I finished the exam in 6 minutes. It was a 2 hours exam, but I had to wait for like 45 minutes before I leave. Because you understand, that's how helpful it can be to partner with a friend. This same thing also happened when we were writing physiology 201. We were going to the exam hall. We were asking ourselves questions. Guess what? When we got into the hall, it was the only questions that came out. The one we were asking ourselves. So partnering with a friend will always help you. Please practice exam question. In 300 level, I have a lot of stories to tell you. In 300 level, we're doing a course called pharmacognosy, where you study plants and animal used for drugs, basically. So we do not have time to read the handout. It was like the most bulkiest of all courses in pharmacy school. I cannot forget. Do you know what we did? Past questions. That was what we did. Guess what came out? Past questions. So people who were reading the handouts trying to know new information, we they didn't score A, but we did. Do you understand? So please put it into practice. Those 5 P's. Don't forget it. Thank you for watching. My name remain Alfred, and I make learning easy for students, for workers, and people interested in learning a skill.